finally bringing back the one-on-one interview series. We did a bunch of these. It was going great. We had to take a break for the kids, but now we're back, so the series is back, and we got a really good interview lined up for tonight. Definitely not a stranger to the stream. We have been casting for this guy, man, basically since I started casting. Way back, I'm pretty sure in the Royalty Series days when he was with the DNA team, and then in the TPES days when he was with the Nordic Vikings, and then now we've seen him like non-stop with the LOA Nordic Vikings, and man, have they been on a tear for the last 2 seasons. But yeah, man, we got 5-time Grand Champ appearance, 4-time Grand Champion, owner of League of Allegiance, owner of DNA Esports, founder and owner of the Unversed Coaching University. Dude's doing it all, and everybody pretty much has either been in a Discord server or in a lobby with our next guest. We got HAKKstreams. Dude, thank you so much for being here. Thank you on a Saturday too for your time, man.
For sure. Thank you for having me. It seems really interesting.
Yeah, dude, we're going to keep it pretty simple, but we do got a lot to talk about, and we're going to do it, you know, the one-on-one interview style. We're going to hop here on the field. We got unlimited time, and we are just going to run it up. And you know what, dude, we actually got to back out really quick and rejoin with the same info, because as I said it, I remembered I didn't change it to unlimited time. So really quick, I'm fixing that. Like, as I said it, I was like, I'm lying. I didn't do that.
Oh, thank goodness it wasn't doing that.
Yeah, we definitely don't do that. We are definitely not doing that. But yeah, dude, so we're going to get this going. You removed the song. Oh, dude, so I'm glad you brought that up. Appreciate everybody hanging out in TikTok. So the reason that the song request is removed for this portion of the stream is because every song that you're going to hear tonight was actually written, played, and recorded by HAKKstreams himself under the name Hacker with a 3. Check him out on Spotify, on YouTube. We're going to be dropping those links in chat right now. If you like what you're hearing, definitely check him out because he's putting out some really good music. And he's got just a blend of sounds in his records that, I mean, like, if you don't vibe with one thing, you're probably going to vibe with something else. So check him out. Solace just dropped the Spotify there. Finally got his name changed back. Welcome back, dude. So that's going to be Spotify to find Hacker on Spotify. I just said that. Lobby's open, dude. Same info. You can get back in here when you're ready, and we're going to kick this off.
All right, sweet. Loading in now.
There he is. All right, so are you ready?
Hey, I was born ready.
All right, chat. If it seems like I'm ignoring you, it's because the interview is going well. But if you've got a question that you'd like to see get asked during this interview, feel free to drop it in chat. If we like it, we'll make sure to ask it while we got this going. Genju, welcome in. Ethereal Stream says W HAKKstreams. You got some fans in the house. Everybody's seen Hack play a time or two on this stream. Why is it blocked out your name, but we're using Barrel, so it doesn't matter. All right, man. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Thaddeus says hit the quad reset. Do not get disappointed on my POV. If Hack's live, you might want to watch his. All right.
I can't do a quad reset. I'm a little too buns for that.
Little two buns. I don't know, man. I wouldn't doubt it out of you. All right, man. So let's start this off simple, and let's just introduce everybody to HAKKstreams, the man. How old are you?
About 50 years old. No, I'm kidding. Almost 30, 29, creeping on up to the 30.
29, coming up on 30. Where are you from?
I was born in Philly. Raised in Alabama. Moved down to South Florida for a little bit, and now I live in around ATL.
Oh wow, dude, you've been a little bit of everywhere, and as somebody that's been in Alabama and Philly, those are two really different places to grow up.
Right, yeah.
I mean, couldn't be different.
I don't remember anything about Philly, I'll be honest. Like, that was one of those things where my mom's like, hey, we're gonna have you born in the hospital I was born at. And yeah, basically lived in Bama my whole life, just with the exception of a couple of days in Philly during my hospital time.
I see. Okay. So most of the time was in Bama, and now you're in the Atlanta area. Obviously, I'm assuming you've passed the school force and joined the workforce. What are you doing for work?
Believe it or not, I manage a couple of GameStops.
No kidding, dude. That is like the most fitting answer that somebody could expect out of one of us.
Right.
One of the boys. Okay. How long you been with GameStop?
2 years going on. Yeah, going on 2.5 years. Sorry. Yeah, I had to think about it for a little bit, but yes.
Dude, that's actually got to be one of those jobs that you just don't hate going to every day, right? Like, at least it's something you're interested in for the most part, even if, it doesn't have to be all of it. At least some of it's interesting. A lot of people don't get that. Some people are just like miserable all day, and I'm like, man, I can't imagine hating your job. So that's dope. J Rob's in chat says, help me get a job at GameStop. Hey, dude, if you're in the Atlanta area, he's at a couple GameStops, so he might manage one you live near. Put your application in.
Put your application in. DM is currently in the works, so I'll be overseeing a lot.
Well, dude, congratulations. Sounds like a promotion kind of recent, so that's awesome. Good things going on in life. What we gotta ask? What's the worst part of working at GameStop?
Customers that feel entitled.
Oh man, they're everywhere. Every industry.
Right? Yeah, that's just customer service for you.
Yeah.
But other than that, GameStop isn't the way for the customers. Good. I don't really run into a lot of customers that are straight up just awful. There's just that very small percentage of people that are just like, you need to do everything for me, and yada 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 yada, and just have no respect for boundaries.
Unfortunately, we could just.
No, it's not my rules.
Oh right, it's just you gotta have them everywhere. It feels like in every industry I've ever worked in, there's those couple that just walk through the door, and you're like, man, you're gonna do this through every door you walk through, right?
So somebody said, can you turn Hack's mic up? It's kind of quiet.
We absolutely can. I was wondering about that. Give me one sec, boys. I'm turning him up.
Don't worry, I'm not going
Dude,
to...
clip on me. Clip on me.
No, not while you're out of the play. I can't do that.
Let me know if that's better. I turned him up a decent little bit.
Ooh.
All right,
Shoot,
so...
you might be the one clipping on me.
I don't clip off it, dude. Okay, so got big things coming up in the job field, and that's awesome. Got a job you enjoy. What about in the personal life? You don't have to get too personal, but you got
Sure.
a significant other?
No, that is something I do not look for at the moment.
I'm tracking. Just curious.
No problem.
What about family? You got family close in the Atlanta area? You spend a lot of time with family?
That's something I say I could wish. Unfortunately, that is something. My brother is about the only family that I have around this area. Other than that, all my family does live out of state, and I don't really get to see them as much as I would like.
That's a tough part of moving is that we don't think about when we do it, but then we realize after we've been somewhere a while, we're like, man, it's actually kind of difficult to live not close to family. I did that for a long time, but luckily now I'm back home, where most of the family is. But yeah, I definitely understand that struggle, and kind of wishing you had some family close at times.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what about non-Rocket League interests? We could talk about some things that you do that aren't Rocket League for a little minute before we get into the the meat and potatoes. Obviously, we're listening to the Hacker playlist on Spotify. We dropped that in chat. We've also got a YouTube channel for the music side. How long have you been doing music, and what instruments do you play?
I've been doing music for probably about a decade, give or take. I picked up a guitar. First time I ever picked up a guitar is probably whenever, I don't know, maybe around first grade, where I started really young. And then I stopped for a really long time and didn't pick it up again until like college. And then after a while of getting comfortable playing the guitar again, I decided to start writing, producing my own stuff. And then, sure enough, after that, I ended up, getting a lot more experience under my belt, doing other people's stuff, my own stuff, and just kept going down that rabbit hole. Oh, got a nice little touch there.
Okay, so you got about a decade. How long have you been recording and putting your own music out?
In terms of putting my own music out, I would probably say about 8 years.
About 8 years. Okay, so a good little bit. Do you remember the first song you put out?
I do not, honestly. I really have no clue. Because I have a decent amount of songs, I guess. Boy, I wish I knew that answer to that question. I'm not even gonna lie. I would have to go back and take a look and see if I can find it, just so I can recall what it was. But let's just say, in comparison to what I make now, I don't know if I would find it appealing. Oh man.
You know what's funny? The reason I asked that was because we've talked. Thank you. We've talked. I'm also a musician, and the first song that I put out that I recorded was closer to 20 years than 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And
right.
I can tell you right now, I'm not proud of whatever that was, but I couldn't tell you what the song was called or what it sounded like.
Right.
But it's interesting because, somebody like you've been putting music out for about 8 years. You can see the progress and the development, over that time. And as a listener, you get to see that too, because, you get to see those dates of like publication and written dates in the notes and things like that. So that's a cool little, feature that you get of having that content over the years is, you get to see your progression and how you evolved and how you changed. Which is, it's very, very insightful when you look back at it over the decades. Oh, got me. He got me.
Sorry.
Got me. Steel Dragon and Frosted Cheetah. Appreciate the follows. I'm not trying to ignore you guys, but this, the interview's the priority here. We'll talk to everybody in a little bit. Okay, so what else outside of music and Rocket League? Do you do anything else, or is there any other games that you've committed, the type of time and mental anguish to Rocket League as?
Yes, the finals. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that one.
I haven't.
It is 100% free to play. It's a first-person shooter made by the same developers of the original Battlefields. And it is overall just a fantastic game. There's private matches, your own tournaments, and whatnot. Now, I just recently picked the game back up. I stopped playing probably about 6 months ago, give or take, and I just now decided to pick it back up because I did put out a poll in LOA asking if people would be interested in playing it.
That's embarrassing.
And sure enough, we ended up getting a decent amount of, yeses. They would be interested in playing it. So LOA is actually going to be bringing in LOA into the picture when it comes to these tournaments. For me personally, I am a heavy class sweat in the finals. And at one point in the game mode Quick Cash, I was actually ranked top 1,000 in the world.
Let's go.
But that was back a hot minute. But overall, hey, I'm gonna get back there. I ended up playing the other day and actually did really, really, really well considering I hadn't touched it.
Okay. If you had to guess your hours in that game across, your tenure of it, where would you put it?
I would probably say close to about 100 hours, maybe.
About 100 hours. Okay.
Not near as much as Rocket League. I played Rocket League a lot longer.
I would imagine. Anything that gets close to Rocket League?
No.
Okay.
Rocket League is definitely the game that I've by far put the most amount of time in. It's not even close. Ooh, it's safe.
Thank you. Okay, well, I guess that kind of brings us into it. When did you get introduced to Rocket League, and what was that introduction? Did you, somebody recommend it? Did you just find it and download it?
No, so it's funny you mentioned that. So way back, I think this was back around 2020-ish. A couple of buddies of mine said, "Hey, download this game," and I had honestly never even heard of Rocket League before. We ended up, me and my brother ended up getting it, trying it for the first time, and they ended up putting us like in Rumble. And for me, I did not take the game serious whatsoever around that time. I just, picked up the game, was laughing every 2 seconds because I'd never played anything like it. And it was just a lot. It was just very funny, just, having these spikes on your cars, tornadoes, and these magic fists that just pop out of your car, launching a ball a million miles per hour across the field. So yeah, we ended up trying that. And like I said, it was a fun experience. Then later on, probably around late 2023, I ended up re-downloading the game. Me and my brother were just trying to have fun, and we actually got into the competitive aspect for a little bit. And once I ended up, climbing through the ranks somewhat quickly, I ended up realizing the game is it's the most sporty game I have ever played, period. There's not really another game like it in the sense of you have to practice to really hone in on your skill. It's a lot like shooting basketball or training for like football or something of that nature.
Good double.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah, it's just one of those games. And for me, I grew up playing sports, played football, played college football for a little bit, ended up having a career-ending injury. I was not allowed to play again, so having this type of atmosphere is a lot of fun because to me it was it's a very community-based game if you have the community for it. And for whoops. But overall, like it's just it is the game that I like over every other game.
Okay, well, really quick, because I didn't know that you played college ball, and we completely brushed over that. So let's talk football career before we deep dive into Rocket League. Where'd you play? Obviously, what position? And you said career-ending injury.
Sure.
What happened there?
So I ended up playing at Faulkner University. That was a college that was really close to home because I wanted to pick a college that was close to home at the time. And this is not NCAA, although I was recruited for NCAA, both by Auburn, University of Tennessee. A lot of Ole Miss is another one. There's a lot of D1 programs that I had rejected simply because a lot of those programs, let's say, for example, if you were to get an injury, you would be cut off of scholarship funding. And I was more so focused on the priority of my schoolwork. So going to school, they ended up deeming that, if you ever did have an injury, that you would not succumb to losing your scholarship. So,
awesome.
Ended up agreeing to those terms basically, and chose to go with a smaller college because it was a win-win situation considering I got to see my family that was closer to home. Now, granted, it's ironic and unfortunate that I did suffer a career-ending injury, but that just what ended up happening. It was crazy how it ended up happening. For me at the time, I was a true freshman, and we had a senior that was just transferred in from Texas Tech, who was a starter for Texas Tech, but he ended up getting cut because he did something he shouldn't have, and so he was no longer with that school. And score, free goal, score! No, you went for the demo.
I got both.
But long story short, we ended up going head to head, and let's just say that I was manhandling him. But in the process, all those hits, it was hiding something that was going on with my shoulder. So, for example, my arm ended up going dead.
Oops.
And
that's unfortunate.
My arm ended up going completely dead because somebody ended up doing something stupid in practice. And the coach ended up having us do downs, a lot of them. And for me, I basically had to use one arm to finish my up downs because I couldn't feel my other arm. And whenever I took off my shoulder pads, I had to get somebody else to actually take off my pads. Ended up having to go to the hospital to figure out what was going on. There was no broken bones. But what ended up happening, the doctor said it was a sprained AC joint. After further investigation, doing an MRI. So we're like, okay, that's cool. Sprained AC joint, a couple weeks, cool. So a couple of weeks goes by, and now we're getting close to the start of the season. I'm quote unquote healed, but sure enough, again in practice, I take another hit, and it wasn't anything like before. It was just something very minor. The same thing ends up happening, where my arm just goes completely dead. So my arm goes completely dead again, and we revisit the doctor. Says the same thing. So I again trust his, input, and this time he said take 3 to 4 weeks. So at this point, considering I'm missing a quarter of the season, the coaches decided to redshirt me for the season. So I wasn't allowed to play during that, with me being redshirt. So I ended up getting redshirted so they could have me for the remainder of the years that I was going to be there. But sure enough, I was still practicing after I healed, which was fine. So I ended up going practice. Sure enough, the third time was the charm. He tried to say the same thing, that it was just a sprained AC joint, but that was not the case. So it eventually got to the point to where the pain was pretty, not necessarily unbearable, but it was so excruciating and so unnatural. It got to the point to where I ended up telling the doctor, I was like, look, something else is going on. I've had sprains, I've had broken bones, I've had a lot of these things before, and none of them really quite falls in this category. I told him basically there's something more serious going on. So he ended up agreeing to cut me open, and sure enough, after he cut me open and actually arthroscopically inserted a camera to see what was going on, we ended up finding rotator cuff and labrum tears. So ended up having surgery on that, and he ended up, after the surgery, he ended up apologizing to my dad while I was asleep, basically waking up from the anesthesia, saying that we could not catch it because of XYZ, and he ended up basically showing us the MRI on how he couldn't see the tear. So whenever he inserted the camera, he was able to see those tears. But sure enough, later on in the second season that I was going to be there, once again, I was a freshman, redshirt freshman. Ended up, going in, taking more hits. Same thing happened again. So ended up having to have a second surgery, which was not fun. So ended up having that, basically those anchors that were inserted in my shoulder to fix the problem. They ended up, fixing that. But then the next time that I ended up going in for practice for what was supposed to be my junior season, again, same thing ended up happening, and I ended up having to have a third surgery. But that's where the doctor ended up sitting down with me and basically said, if you want to be able to throw a football with your kids one day, you better hang up the cleats now, because you're not going to have a shoulder later on down the road if you keep doing this. So I ended up having to make an executive decision there, because one day I do want to be able to throw football with kids, because football is something I love, and hopefully one day I hope they love it too. That's how that went.
Dude, I'm really glad that we didn't accidentally brush over any of that, because man, that's so unfortunate, and then it's crazy because it's not a story that's super rare to college sports, but it sounds like it's tough, because you want to say at first the school should have known better than to have a true freshman go in full contact against juniors and seniors. And then, you say, well, they made the smart choice of at least redshirting you that year, give you time to recover and save your time, but then you're still back at practice and you're going to get hurt anyway, so what was the point of it all? But, luckily, like you said, you made that smart choice with your recruitment. You got to keep your scholarship, which means you get to finish school. It was a good touch.
Thank you.
But it sucks because, like you said, it's something you're passionate about. It's something you loved and you wanted to do to, the best of your ability, and you weren't given that opportunity. So, difficult to have to sit with. But like you said, at least you get to be able to throw football with the kids, and you did get to play, even if it wasn't anywhere near the circumstances you wanted to. But man, I'm glad we didn't skip over that. Okay, so what... Because anybody that does something the way you or I do, Good poem. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I had to get you back for earlier. I'm sorry.
You had to. I get it. It's only fair. You know, we can't half-ass anything. We have to be the best at whatever we do. So you know,
Sure.
obviously when you're in that, you know, mindset with football, you're here on you got your full ride. When you realize that that's not going to be your future, where do you turn from there? What was your you know, your goal once you realize, you know, I'm not going to be able to do football forever?
Sure. So basically, my life philosophy is to positively affect others. And for me, I want to be able to help a lot of people. And it doesn't really matter what I do. I just want to be able to help, period. So for me, at the time, I wanted to be, you know, football coach. And I actually did coach a little bit, strength and conditioning for our college, which was pretty nice. But ended up getting out of that after my college was up, and I ended up going into, at the time, fitness, and decided to coach a lot of people. And that was fun and whatnot. And then let's just say COVID ended up hitting, and in South Florida, considering they had that sort of scenario where all gyms were closed temporarily, the managers were furloughed for X amount of time. It was a couple of months, but then they ended up firing basically all of the managers within that region and district. Oh my gosh,
I needed the help.
Yeah, so they ended up firing all the managers at the time, which I ended up running a fitness studio down in South Florida, which is a multi-million-dollar studio. But ended up getting let go. They brought down the district managers to operate skeleton crews, and I don't know if they still do that, but yeah. But
I'm sure once they realized they could save that money by running it like that full time, I bet they still do that.
Yeah, probably. That's what a lot of businesses do. They're like, you know what? Maybe we didn't need to use all that labor.
Yep, that's what happened to a lot of places.
That's how GameStop is nowadays. A lot of it, shoot, a lot of stores aren't fortunate enough to have double coverage now. They're like, we can just get it done with single coverage.
Yeah, I'm over in Memphis, and we actually have like a ton of GameStops within, you know, like a 15 to 20 minute drive of each other. And there's always only ever one person. Every time I go in, I'm like, dude, like, you need help, bro. Like,
right?
If there's more than two people in here, you need some help.
Oh, what a save! Nice
Thank
little save up the top.
Okay, so let's hop back into Rocket League here, because
Sure.
we got a lot to chew there as well. We talked about the introduction with your brother, which was funny. We talked about that before. I think mine was with my brother as well. We downloaded it together and just got hooked immediately. What year was that? When did you start playing Rocket League?
Are you talking about like as a joke, or or like when I first tried it as like
the first time you played, and then when you started taking it seriously?
First time I played was back in 2020, and then I started taking it more so serious at like quarter four of 2023.
Okay, so about into 23 is when your grind really started, but you
Yes.
at least knew what Rocket League was and played a match or two in 2020.
Correct.
So I think DNA started around like probably right at the end of 2023, right? Like, so like right when you started kind of getting into the grind a bit.
Correct.
And how did DNA start out?
DNA started. It's funny that you mentioned that, and I wonder if he's in the stream. I don't know if he is or not. You might know him as like Founder Gabe or Jesus Freak.
Yep.
He was a co-founder of DNA.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Before we started DNA back in the day, we used to be called The Unversed, but for copyright purposes, we decided to change that. And now it's you're probably about to realize that that name sounds pretty familiar.
It does.
Yeah. The Unversed is a Kilo Hearts reference. It was the team, or is it Kilo Hearts? Kingdom Hearts. I think it was. I can't remember. But it's a reference to a game that Founder Gabe ended up coming up with on that one. But we ended up unanimously agreeing that, hey, we need to change that. So we decided to come up with something a little more interesting. So me and him were having a discussion on like team names and stuff. And he ended up making the comment like, "Hey, it's in our DNA," or something like that. And he tried to say like a name immediately after. I was like, "Stop!" I was like, "Stop!" I was like, "That's it right there. Why don't we just call ourselves DNA?" And we ended up going with that. Then we ended up creating the acronym called Defeat Not Accepted, which is kind of cool.
I do like that.
So that's how that ended up coming about. And we ended up getting, at the time, a 500, 600 member server that was really active. Shoot, we had one time. We had like 15 to 20 teams of diamonds all the way up to freaking high grand champs and SSLs. And it was overall a really good experience. But then it got to the point to where a lot of the other founders, had other life obligations. They weren't able to contribute as much. So I ended up taking it into account, and I developed my own type of thing, which is League of Allegiance. But fun fact, League of Allegiance, well, we'll discuss that here in a little bit. So yeah, I'll just end on that note. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. So verified for sure. Founder Gabe is in chat, and he says that not only did you save a cat once, I think it was a drowning cat once, but you also did his taxes last year, and he confirms great guy.
No, I did not do his taxes. So what the heck, man? You can't say that. You know what? I'm gonna try to own it so much. I'm kind of oh. Nice.
Okay, so obviously we know DNA isn't really quite as active as in esports or some other things. I saved that in my eyes. In my heart, I saved that. You said good save. Okay, so LOA ended up taking kind of the forefront of the attention, and phenomenal job so far with that. We're in season 2. How did LOA come about?
So kind of like what I was saying earlier with the whole DNA thing, where the founders had more bigger life obligations going on. For example, Gabe ended up having a kid.
Congrats, Gabe.
And yeah, he ended up having a kid. The other founder that was named Cody, he was somebody that was more so on the back end of occasionally, but it got to the point to where their life obligation were such a priority where I was basically doing everything at that point. And that's not me shaming them or trash talking them. That's just the reality of the situation. They had life obligations, which was important. So they ended up focusing on that, and I just took it to myself to just do my own thing. And so I ended up coming up with the LOA. I wanted to run a league that was basically the best verified competition. Hack is trash talking. No, I'm not. I promise, Gabe. You know I'm not. But I ended up coming up with the LOA after having played in a lot of amateur leagues. I wanted to come up with something that I felt like was better. That's not me shaming or trash talking other leagues, Gabe. So I ended up making League of Allegiance. It has really high standards for you to even be accepted into becoming a player. So one thing that I can say for certain is, out of all the leagues that I've played in, I've always come across a Smurf, it seems, because the requirements to get in are very, very low. And LOA, there has not been a single Smurf. The only thing that's ever happened in LOA in regards to cheating is somebody purposely went on somebody's account that was truly eligible and tried to play on it, which we found out about it, and we immediately banned that person. Somebody from Acid Esports under the name of Zaza. I put you on blast if you're watching that, absolutely. Sorry, but to me, cheating like that should not go unnoticed.
Agreed.
But that ended up happening in our league, unfortunately. But other than that, we have such a requirement list that it just completely refines everything that a lot of other leagues do. And it just maintains the integrity that there's no cheating going on in the league. Because the number one thing that I always hear people complaining about in other leagues is that there's cheating, and that's something we tried to eliminate. So yeah.
Having gotten to see a fair bit of the matches between season 1 and season 2, I can definitely attest that all of the matches that we saw in our series were fair. Everybody in the stream or on the field was supposed to be on the field, and phenomenal content. But outside of that, that's not really the only thing that makes you guys different. You guys do a couple things different that I really vibed with when you first, told me what was going on, and once you got the season 1 rolling, is it's not just a 3v3 and a 2v2 league. Every team plays a 2v2 and a 3v3 series each week, and it's a total series win-loss across the two, which is definitely not done in any other season. Where'd you come up with that idea?
Well, a lot of people, whenever I end up doing a poll in our server, heavily favored 2v2. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Got it right under me on that one. They heavily favored 2v2, and I ended up trying to come up with a system where you could kind of fuse the two together. And since a lot of people wanted the 2v2, I didn't just want to run a separate league. And the only reason why I didn't do that is because that would borderline almost be more hassle for not just staff, but it would be more hassle to the players too on having to keep up. Oh shoot, what team am I having to play in 3v3 or what team am I having to play in 2v2? So by combining the two, it is unanimous. You play the same team, same week. You just play them twice. You get to enjoy 2v2, but you also get to show your whole team's skill. Not only can you display your 2v2 skill, but your team is going to have to be well-rounded in 3v3 as well. So for example, in the 2v2 and the 3v3, the whole purpose of it, depending on your seed in the postseason, the higher seed in the playoff bracket gets to choose whether or not they can do 2v2 or 3v3. And that is going to be best of 7. All of those, you have to play 5 matches. That's done with when it comes to the postseason. This is just a placeholder, so everybody can play the exact same amount of matches. Yeah, take that demo. So everybody can play the exact same amount of matches in the regular season and have the same opportunity as everybody else to make the playoffs. So it's not just based on your series wins and losses. It is based on the overall wins and losses too. So I hope that provides a little more insight on it.
It definitely does, and it's a really nice twist. I really like the psychological aspect that it adds that I feel like, people overlook until they experience it the first couple times. But, people often are scheduling the 2s and 3s back to back out of convenience, for only having to schedule one time for everybody. And that makes sense for everybody, but then you get this mental aspect that gets tied in of 2 out of the 3 players are going to be warmed up, and not just that, but together, and super locked in on a 2's rotation when they go into that 3 series. So even if you're, the 2v2 team goes through the sweep and are totally locked in, that can mean nothing in the 3v3 series, and it could actually work against you if those guys are too tight together at that point.
Yep, 100%.
I've seen it across a couple series, and I was like, man, what a nice little mental twist that these guys probably didn't even think about, and now they're having to deal with every week.
Something too that I realized when playing in a lot of other leagues, I got better at Rocket League by participating in a lot of leagues. Still not SSL yet, but hey, I'm trying to get there one day. Take that demo. You're not gonna score a Michael. Get out of here. But no, in all seriousness, I got a lot better by participating in other leagues. And with LOA having such high standards and verifying the ranks of these people, unlike a lot of other ones, because you're going to have a lot of people that might have been boosted, LOA takes that into account also. So if you've been boosted, I'm not saying you get a free pass per se, but boosted doesn't matter. Some other, servers are going to be like, okay, you were boosted, cool. We're going to go ahead and put you in this tier anyways because we can see a rapid hike and hammer mark. No, that's not the case. We don't trust that. I'm sorry. But anyways, back over to what I was saying. Playing in leagues made me a lot better. So the philosophy is, if you are trying to get better as a player and just overall trying to have fun, I wanted to create an environment and a community where you could get the best of both worlds. Have fun, competitive, but you can play 2v2 and 3v3 because a lot of people, you look at their trackers, primarily primarily their games are 2v2. It seems now.
100%.
Almost, it's not a lot of 3v3s, or you're going to see a big disparity in the ranks versus 2v2 and 3v3. More times than not, 90% of the time, people are going to have a higher 2v2 salary or a higher 2v2 MMR than their 3v3. So, with that being said, the thought process of fusing the 2v2 and the 3v3 is so people can learn and develop to becoming well-rounded players in either category. Because I know a lot of people, and granted, it may not be active coaching playing those games, but you are actively learning on how to play both 2v2 and 3v3 in this league. And at the same time, you're running into people you probably never met before. Some people have met, their teammates and whatnot, which is fine. But more times than not, a lot of these players haven't met some of these people, and you're just overall learning how to play with randos. And that overall affects people's ranks. There's so many people in LOA right now that have increased their rank drastically just by participating in LOA. And actually, shout out, Carry Me is somebody that was like Diamond 2 or Diamond 3. Not even within a couple of weeks or a month after, he ended up getting champ. Simply because he was, playing with people that were just simply, at the time, higher skill than him. And he was taking all of that into consideration, and the community was nice enough to help him. And he did a great job. So
I definitely can vouch for this community. It's a great group of guys. I don't think I've seen a lick of toxicity in any of the chats. All of the team chats, the scheduling chats, it's all GGs after the matches. Guys having fun. So definitely a strong community you guys have built over there. And we're only in season 2. It is coming pretty much to the close. We got 2 weeks left of regular.
Yes, 2 weeks left. It's going to be an 8-week regular season with the 2 to 3 week postseason. We're going to have a wild card round where the number 2 seed plays the number 3 seed in the conference. So it's not like your other typical, leagues where you just the top 8 automatically make it in. No, there's actual conferences in LA. So you have the Atlantic, or the Ancient Legends Conference, and then you have the Modern Warfare Conference, and the top 3 seeds in each of those conferences are going to be admitted into the playoffs this season.
Awesome. Okay, so a little bit different on the bracket than what we experienced last season, but still kind of the same format.
Sure.
Any changes coming up for season 3 in the works that you guys already have, public information? Or just, anything news-wise for Season 3 as, you guys are preparing?
Season 3, not really. I think right now a lot of people are having fun of what's going on. Right now what we're seeing is, since there's a lot of first-time franchise owners, and after having discussed with a lot of team owners, what happens is as a first-time, first-season team owner, they get a limited salary cap. But as you progress, you earn money for your franchise, and you can borderline bypass your salary cap after having participated after the season. So the money you earn is determined by your win. So each win counts as 1.5 million LOA dollars, and you can use that to exceed your salary cap. So all of these franchise owners that are putting in, if people think it's balanced now, it's going to be even more balanced next season, and you're even going to see higher skilled players next season. So that's really about the only changes that's going to be coming. I've been thinking about maybe implementing a 1v1 aspect, but it's not going to be intertwined with the 2v2 and the 3v. That's going to be more of its own thing. But that's just something extra if people want to do it, but there has to be interest from other people. I don't know if they're going to be doing that or not, but we're going to find out, and I'm probably going to put a poll out before too long to see if people may be interested in that.
I'm interested how the community is going to respond, especially because both teams already have to run the 2s and the 3s. I'm curious which way that's going to lean. If more guys are going to be foregoing 1s as well, or if they'd rather it be more of an optional or side project kind of thing. Because I really kind of see the benefit to adding it to the regular season, but I could also see where some guys might not want it. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out once that poll goes live. I'm gonna make sure to check in on that.
Sure.
But okay, so we got like we said, season 2's wrapping up, but we got a couple weeks left in the regular, and then we got postseason kicking off, and then season 3 won't be far behind. also have the coaching going on. That's opened up relatively recently. We've got the Unversed University. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So Unversed University, obviously we discussed it earlier in regards to how DNA started in a way. Unversed University, I kind of took that inspiration. Instead of calling us just the Unversed, I decided to go Unversed University because Unversed signifies that, you know, somebody is undeveloped. So we ended up, you know, or I ended up coming up with that name as inspiration from our roots. Essentially, and we have a lot of people or coaches that were wanting to help other people, and getting with them, and I myself are willing to help people on, you know, the champ tier, or even maybe low GC1 tier, on how to, you know, improve their game or what my philosophy is in the game. But yeah, that's really about it. Just a good community, good coaches. We have SSL Two Dads. Shout out, he's watching. He's somebody that literally beat Arsenal the other day. He plays a lot of these big players, Garrett G, Arsenal. He's had, you know, screenshots of him beating Husky. Lots of these various different renowned rock players.
I just saw Solace drop the Discord in chat. If you guys aren't in the Unversed University yet and you're looking for coaching, definitely check them out. The link is available. Talk to them about, you know, what's going to happen when they join the Discord, what's the process if they are looking to get some coaching, and what can they expect, you know, for that kind of journey for them. Oh my God.
Sure thing. So, Unversed University, when you get in, always remember, in my servers, to prevent all these useless bots coming in, I have a CAPTCHA that everybody does have to, you know, do, just so I can verify that nobody's a bot coming in. But other than that, you just register. It is literally 2 simple steps. You literally just paste your Rocket League tracker, and then you just select what your current rank is, or your highest rank in current 2v2 and 3v4. That's literally it. And I approve it in a matter of seconds, and you're already then a registered student of Unversed University. And then you can go on about reaching out to our sponsored coaches, which if you take a look at the tab, you're going to see our current sponsored coaches, and you can DM them at any time to book yourself a session.
Perfect. And do you guys, you know, have a general pricing, what they can expect per session, or is that per coach and inside their section?
No. It's free. Doesn't cost a penny.
I didn't want to say it out loud. I wanted you to say it. It's free, people. If you're looking for coaching, everybody always asks me in chat, where can I get coaching? Well, who does free coaching? I can't afford coaching. It's free. It's the link's right there in chat. It's free. He's not asking you for money. His coaches are there. Just be good to him and listen to what they say, because it's free. It's free coaching. That's where you can find it. Everybody always asks. Right there.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. So we've talked about LOA, we talked about DNA, we talked about Unversed and a college football career that got ended tragically. What's the future got for HAKKstreams? What are you working on right now? What are you excited about? Whether it be, you know, music projects, you know, LOA things. What's going on for Hack in the future?
Oh no, own goal.
He's helping me out. That's what he's doing in the future.
The future is practicing on how not to own goal. No. In all seriousness, something that I am trying to do is recover my PC. Whenever I say recover my PC, I'm currently on a PC, but I had 2 PCs. One for music. One for music production and one for gaming. And the PC that I'd been using for almost the past decade. That's like more. The projects had a decade, or the PC had a decade's worth of projects, but I only owned the PC for about half a decade, and that ended up dying on me the other day. So I'm trying to figure out on how to extract all those projects and you know, do that. And then I'm also trying to work on maybe establishing an EP before too long, since I've got some few songs currently that are unreleased. You know, maybe doing something like that, or dropping an album too. And of course, I want to collaborate again with my brother, because it's always a pleasure, you know, making music with him. So fun fact, Circles and Immolation are 2 songs that we wrote together. He ended up presenting some ideas in terms of guitar riffs, and I ended up producing all the other elements, and we brainstormed together to come out with a masterpiece and make it. So, potentially EP. Like I was discussing earlier with the LOA, we're going to be bringing the finals into LOA, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to have to program a bot for that. So I'll be programming a bot that will make, you know, registering for these finals tournaments a breeze for everybody. Oh my gosh! Whoops.
Do it to me.
Sorry. But yeah, lots of cool things coming for LOA, and you know, like I said, current steps are being taken in a possible promotion for me. And you know, I just look forward to, you know, seeing how the next day is going to unfold.
Dude, I love hearing all of it. I'm glad you got some big things on the horizon. You're doing so much for the community, and it's all, you know, out of just love of the game and of the community. You know, you're never out here asking for money. You don't have anybody big sponsoring you, you know, covering your guys' graphics or anything like that. I know you're doing all that stuff out there yourself, and you're doing a phenomenal job, man. The last two seasons have been great, and my community has been incredibly blessed with the content. For a while there, I mean, 3-4 nights a week of our stream, you know, we had LOA of some sort, and most of it was just Nordic Vikings just on a tear. So I couldn't be more appreciative of you and everything you're doing for the community out here, and definitely couldn't be more grateful of you giving us your Saturday night to sit back, do a little one-on-one interview, let everybody meet HAKKstreams and get to know the guy that's you know, putting all this work in to give us a community to hang out and do what we love to do.
Sure thing, absolutely. And I know, hey, this is something I actually forgot to mention. You know, if you're still wanting to do it, I know we had briefly discussed through messages about hosting a podcast once a week for LOA. So of course, you know, if you're still wanting to do that, hey, you don't have to, but if you want to, we can come up with some ideas that we were discussing the other day in regards to like podcasts and stuff, and just have a good time.
I think all of my, you know, kind of day one guys that have been around since my like casting journey started knows that I've wanted to do some type of death segment. I've wanted to set it up for so long, and you know, between all of the different leagues that I've worked with in the past and all the other casters that I've worked with, it's just never worked out to where we could all focus on one project. But I definitely think this is something that between me and you, we can get set up with a couple other guys, you know, who are part of that community to put together some awesome content. And I can't wait to set that up. We definitely are going to move forward in that direction. That has to happen.
Heck yeah, I'm excited for it.
I am as well. Chat, really quick before I let this man go, we're going to steal a few more minutes of his time. If you've got anything in chat you want asked during the interview, I'll ask him live. Drop it in chat. Just keep it clean. But it's 32:30 right now. At 35, if nobody's got a good question, we'll go ahead and let you go. But yeah, man, chat, what do you guys got for HAKKstreams? You've got to listen to us talk for about a half hour, a little more. Any questions? Solace is dropping all our links right now. If you're trying to find him on any social media platform or in his Discord servers, that is the links right there. We've got the DNA, we've got the LOA, we've got the coaching, we've got the Spotify, we got the TikTok, we got the YouTube. He is also a streamer on Twitch. If you're not following him, Akaza, could you also shout him out real quick in chat? Make sure everybody in here is following HAKKstreams. He streams not only his own gameplay, but he does some casting as well, and you know that we're going to have some co-casts together coming up soon as well.
Heck yeah, I'm excited for that one.
I am as well, dude. Man, you know what's funny? I'm sure there's some people who have never seen my one-on-one interview series in here before, and they're looking at the score going, "Oh my god!" But he's been so nice to me. They're usually way worse. They're usually like unforgiving out here. Like he's
Really?
given me so many chances, and he's like spared me so many times. The score is usually so much worse. He's been a gentleman. Aesbo was the worst. Aesbo tried to hit 100 on me during our interview. He was dragging the interview out to try and score 100 goals on me. He told me he was.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I'm just chilling, you know.
He got 84, yeah. He got to 84, and I forced it. I was like, "Oh, we're done. Thanks for the interview. We're out of here."
Is this the part where I should ask, hey, do you want me to try to beat that goal?
Absolutely not. I said 35 for a reason. I've suffered enough.
No, I'm just kidding. That'd be pretty funny.
No, I appreciate all the time and the sportsmanship. Everybody else, actually, besides Aesbo, everybody else has been good sports. I want everybody get their clips, get their their shots in, because the short form here is really good, and if you can hit a couple nasty shots while we're doing it, even better for the views. But
right,
100 goals is just
Insane.
It's a lot.
Yeah, right. And shoot, at that point, if I was the one casting, I'm like, what the heck is it? You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and cancel this interview before he even gets to 100.
No, that's it. We're done. As soon as I realized, I was like, he actually is gonna do it pretty soon, so I better end this now.
Right? Don't give him that satisfaction.
Never.
Ooh, nice.
Nailed it. Pose Love Jr.
Really nice
in TikTok. Look, everybody that was in chat tonight, all the likes in TikTok, everybody that came in and hung out and was lurking, I appreciate you guys, and I wasn't trying to ignore you all night, but the priority here was the interview, so I appreciate everybody hanging out and chatting. If I didn't respond to you or I didn't acknowledge you, it's not because you don't matter, just don't matter as much as Hack at the moment.
I'm flattered. No, hey, you know what? Contrary to what he says, you matter. You are loved.
You for sure. Founder Gabe says Hack once hit only 99 goals on Zin because he made a promise to Zin's mom he wouldn't hit 100, and that is where we end it on the Chuck Norris pun. I love it, dude. Hack, man, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you're doing for the community again, man. And I can't wait to do some more. The next one's gonna be even better.
Heck yeah, man. I look forward to it also. Thank you for having me.
Ended on a goal, last goal wins.
Oh, no way. No
I'm just playing.
way.
There's like 32 other goals that say otherwise.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it.
I'll say it for you. All right, man. Well, that's going to end up this one-on-one interview episode. Hack, thanks again, man. You guys hang tight. I'm going to hit a B right back. I need a fresh drink. I need to do an off-stream activity to get my mind right again. And then we'll get the lobby open if you guys want to do some